ele gbanado kere kere ye ele gbanado kere kere ye nado agoloriza
ele gbanado kere kere ye ele gbanado kere kere ye nado agoloriza
ele gbanado kere kere ye ele gbanado kere kere ye nado agoloriza
ele gbanado kere kere ye ele gbanado kere kere ye nado agoloriza
ele gbanado kere kere ye ele gbanado kere kere ye nado agoloriza
ele gbanado kere kere ye ele gbanado kere kere ye nado agoloriza
ele gbanado kere kere ye ele gbanado kere kere ye nado agoloriza
ele gbanado kere kere ye ele gbanado kere kere ye nado agoloriza
ele gbanado kere kere ye ele gbanado kere kere ye nado agoloriza
ele gbanado kere kere ye ele gbanado kere kere ye nado agoloriza
ele gbanado kere kere ye ele gbanado kere kere ye nado agoloriza
ele gbanado kere kere ye ele gbanado kere kere ye nado agoloriza
afara hegan so
afara hegan
so
afara hegan
so
afara hegan
so
afara hegan
so
afara hegan
so
afara hegan
hanya pae hanya podungelegba hanya podungelegba we
hanya fae hanya foduelegwa
hanya podungelegba we
hanya fae hanya foduelegwa
hanya podungelegba we
hanya fae hanya foduelegwa
hanya podungelegba ejwalagba na podungelegba we
hanya fae hanya foduelegwa
hanya pae hanya podungelegba we
hanya fae hanya foduelegwa
hanya podungelegba we
hanya fae hanya foduelegwa
hanya podungelegba we
hanya fae hanya foduelegwa
hanya pae hanya podungelegba we
hanya fae hanya foduelegwa
hanya pae hanya podungelegba we
hanya fae hanya foduelegwa
hanya podungelegba we
hanya fae hanya foduelegwa
elegba kuto hunde mawa elegba zumbinawa elegba kuto hunde mawa, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, o parakato, made kuto kuto, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, mawa mawa.
Elegua kuto kunde mawa, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, o parakato, made kuto kuto, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, mawa mawa.
Elegua kuto kunde mawa, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, o parakato, made kuto kuto, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, mawa mawa.
Elegua kuto kunde mawa, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, o parakato, made kuto kuto, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, mawa mawa.
Elegua kuto kunde mawa, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, o parakato, made kuto kuto, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, mawa mawa.
Elegua kuto kunde mawa, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, o parakato, made kuto kuto, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, mawa mawa.
Elegua kuto kunde mawa, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, o parakato, made kuto kuto, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, mawa mawa.
Elegua kuto kunde mawa, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, o parakato, made kuto kuto, elegua zumbinawa, elegua kuto kunde mawa, mawa mawa.
Operere, maito son manalegba.
Oberere, maito son manalegua.
Operere, maito son manalegba.
Oberere, maito son manalegua.
El endiwe kutona indea. Para eka, endiwe kutona indea. Operere, maito son manalegba.
Oberere, maito son manalegua.
Operere, maito son manalegba.
Oberere, maito son manalegua.
El endiwe kutona indea. Para eka, endiwe kutona indea. Operere, maito son manalegba.
Oberere, maito son manalegua.
Operere, maito son manalegba.
Oberere, maito son manalegua.
Operere, maito son manalegba.
Oberere, maito son manalegua.
El endiwe kutona indea. Para eka, endiwe kutona indea. Operere, maito son manalegba.
Well, good morning if it's morning, good evening if it's evening, and good night if it's night. And a big hearty salam alaikum to each and every one of you that's listening to us today, live or will be listening to us in archive. It's 12 o'clock somewhere, and I am Candelo Kimbisa. I'm so happy to be here with you guys today. Let me ask you a question. Have you, the initiates of Orisha, or the non-initiates, the one that have the first step into Orisha, spoken to your Eleguas today? Have you asked him to open up the roads for you? Have you asked him to take away all the barriers? See, most of us in Orisha worship take this day as the beginning of the week, and we also pay homage to Elegua. That's why I chose to play this song today. And I chose to ask him to bring or to open all the roads for all of you. Also, have you taken the time to freshen up your doorway? How do you freshen up your doorway? Well, you simply take a little bit of water from your ancestral altar and spray it across your front doorway, so that everything shall be clean and fresh, and all the blessings that would come to you freshly. These are part of my Monday rituals. I wonder, what are yours? But as I sit here and think today, I was looking at a video that a friend of mine did today. Her name is Alafia. And as I watched the video, I had to think back on myself and think about the things that I was taught in my particular relay, and think about the things that I've been taught over the years. I wonder if you, as a woke person, or as a person who has decided to walk the Orisha lifestyle, how many Christian concepts have come with you over from Christianity, unto your Orisha worship? And many of you may say, well, I left that a long time ago. I did this and I did that, but you still carry on certain things from your Christianity, from your Islam, from your Buddhist mindset. The main part of our conversation today was about people who say you cannot do this or you cannot do that. And it got me to thinking. We all know that in several houses you cannot wear certain clothing to that particular house when drummings are going, when rituals are being done, where they ask people to wear skirts and to cover up their things, and men have to be dressed appropriately and women have to be dressed appropriately. But she brought up the question, and I also bring up the question, whether or not this is just an overlap or something that was brought over from Christianity to Orisha worship. Because when you sit down and you think about the things, when you think about the Yoruba people, when you think about the Bantu, and you think about what was practiced in Africa and what is practiced here, and what was brought over through the Middle Passage, through hundreds of years, through thousands of years, you have to think to yourself, other than ceremonial garb, what was worn? What was worn in ritual? What was worn during Orisha worship? And as she brought up the point, and I realized somehow, I said to myself, it's true. If little or nothing at all. See, these concepts that we have gotten are washover concepts. That they're concepts that we have placed upon Orisha worship. These are concepts that we have placed upon the original intent of these spiritualities. Another thing that she brought up that I've often thought about, and I never followed this rule, was the rule that you could not wear your elekis or your things when you were outside, say at a bar or at a restaurant or at a club or things that I don't do anymore, but things that people do and other people criticize. Is the criticism right or is it wrong? I'm not one to judge. But if these tools were put on you for protection, why not wear them out when you're out there drinking? Why not wear them out when you're out there partying or in a dubious part of town, or if you were from a certain persuasion like myself that do illegal things? These things were placed on you for protection. It doesn't matter whether it's under heat, water, foul, or pass. So I wonder whether or not you have brought in some of your type of Christian theology into Orisha worship or into Bantu worship. Is it right or is it wrong? I'm not here to judge. But there is something there that makes you go, How much of this has infiltrated Orisha worship? Either consciously or unconsciously. Just something for you to think about. And while you're thinking about it, let me play a little bit of old-time funk. because you know me, it's always Funky Town on. It's 12 o'clock somewhere. Now that was a remix of Do You Wanna Funk by Sylvester. Yes, Sylvester, a star that in the 80s was a cross-dresser and also died of HIV/AIDS in 1988. Hopefully you are remembering Sylvester today and jamming with me on It's 12 o'clock somewhere. I see our chat room is coming in. I see Miss Yvette the Motown Witch showed up. Hi there. I see Mr. Obatala. I see Miss Crystal showed up. Miss Maggie showed up. Miss Chantel showed up. And Mr. Black Magic. Hi to all of you. Thank you for listening in to It's 12 o'clock somewhere. Listen, I just found out yesterday that I have listeners on Xbox. Oh my goodness. I partake in online games to quell my mind somewhere. I play a little bit of COD. Call of Duty and things of that sort. And I happen to be looking through my messages and saw that several people listened to It's 12 o'clock somewhere on Xbox One. So I want to thank the guys that are listening to us. I've also had a couple of inquiries of people asking about the older shows. The older shows are available on Block Talk Radio, and they're also available on Kimbisa.org. So go ahead and check out the old shows. If you're finding it hard to maybe come into YouTube or wherever else the show is listening to, do yourself a favor. Go over to Blog Talk Radio. You can hear the older podcast, or iHeartRadio or iTunes. They are all in all these places. I've also noticed that our listenership on YouTube has gone up. I want to thank everybody who's listening to us on YouTube. I also know that a whole bunch of my friends and followers alike also have YouTube channels. So if you do have a YouTube channel, do yourself a favor, go on ahead and post it right here on the chat line, on our chat board, or if not, just go over to my page at It's 12 o'clock somewhere on Facebook and go ahead and post the link there. We want to see your YouTube pages. We want to see what's going on in your life. We want to see your products. We want to see what's going on. Also, guys, if you want to, and if you need to find out what's going on in the show, what's going on with the galas, go over to my page, Candelo Kimbisa, at Facebook. I'm always posting things there, and you can also see what's going on with the galas, and you can see what's going on with me, and you can also see what I'm doing this coming weekend. This coming weekend, I will be in Conyers, Georgia, at a little place called Wicked Mojo. Hoodoo Zen and myself will be giving classes there, and we will be also doing live readings. So if you want to meet up with us in Georgia, Conyers, from what I hear, is a suburb of Atlanta, Georgia. So if you want to come on over and say just hello, if you want to come over and get a reading, or maybe take in our classes, come on over and check us out. We will be there. Today's Tough Shit Tarot of the Day says, cut the shit. You have been dishonest with yourself about your feelings, and it is beginning to affect your personal relationships. If you cannot admit harsh truths about yourself, you can harness the power of forgiveness in order to move on. Now let's talk a little bit about forgiveness. What is the sense of us going into these ATRs and DTRs if it is not for a new rebirth? If it is not for a new beginning? It is not to look at your problems and look at your past mistakes and look at your future. Many of us have come into the ATRs or did come into the ATRs with wrong thoughts, with wrong pretenses, or what we percocate of what we wanted to obtain through Orisha worship or through any ATR for that matter. What I have seen in these 30 plus years, and something that I've also done, was going to it with the wrong thoughts. With the thoughts of power, with the thoughts of ego, with the thoughts of becoming an all-powerful witch, or with the thoughts of destroying. One barely ever comes into the ATRs without the thought of healing, the thought of becoming a better person, the thought of reconciliation with our ego. Yes, I said reconciliation with our ego. Because many of us, through other spiritualities, have lost the communication, have lost that bond with ego. Many of us, when we come into the ATRs or DTRs, we come in with the thought of vengeance, of they're going to see, or I'm going to teach them. And when you set your goals on that type of standard, the falling is very hard. Yes, there are ways of getting back. Yes, there are ways of doing things. But those are not the only way. One must think about healing. Healing oneself, healing one's traumas, healing one's egos. Then you can really see the path that is laid before you. But again, who am I to say? I'm still learning. You're listening to It's 12 O'Clock Somewhere with Candelo Kimbisa.
If you change your mind, I'm the first in line. Honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me. If you need me, let me know. Gonna be around. If you got no place to go when you're feeling down. If you're all alone, when the pretty birds have flown, honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me. Gonna do my very best, and it ain't no lie. If you put me to the test, if you let me try, take a chance on me. That's all I ask of you, honey. Take a chance on me. We can go dancing.
Now that was ABBA with Take a Chance on Me. I can almost hear your Egun and your ancestors telling you to take a chance on them. As I sit here and wonder about all my teachers, Chango Dina Ibae, Magito Labarako Ibae, and some that are living, I think about their teachings. I think about the things that they taught me that weren't in books. I think about the connection. I remember once Chango Dina Ibae telling me, read this person. Lord knows I didn't know how to read anyone at that time. And she explained to me the fundamentals of reading. Let the universe talk to you. Let the spirits talk to you. At that time, she had foretold her death. And she told me, with no uncertain words, I says, what would I do when you pass away? And she told me, I will indicate to you. Just say it. Just call me, and I'll be there whispering in your ear. During my time in the ATRs, yes, I have learned a lot from my teachers. But the most I have learned has been from spirit. There has been no book, there has been no parable, there has been no scripture that has taught me more than the spirit. Then speaking to them. See, I was once in a spiritual mass, and she said to me, I don't care if you see Mickey Mouse spinning on top of one of those cups. I want you to say it. And I was saying, Mickey Mouse? What do you mean, Godmother? What do you mean by Mickey Mouse? She says, you do not know what type of spirit is trying to tell you that there was a Mickey Mouse somewhere in their spiritual cord. Not is Mickey Mouse in their spiritual cord, but some type of influence that may have had on that person. That's what she meant by it. See, when you see a rose, when you smell a rose, when you hear a certain bell, when you smell a type of food, when doing a reading, that is spirit. Some people are auditory, some people are visual. But whatever you hear, you see, you smell, you speak of during that reading. It's not that hard. Today I ask you to take 20 minutes of your time. 20 minutes of your time and sit in front of your ancestral altar. Speak to them just like you're speaking to me. Believe it or not, you will get some type of message. You're listening to It's 12 O'Clock Somewhere with Candelo Kimbisa. I'll be right back.
Como por y vale, un chango, lo mío. Como por y vale, un chango, lo mío. A la dola, aquí la dola, guara, un bao chile. Uruta, guamogui, a mamá loro, orungo camei, mei. Orungo camei, mei, lo tumare. A to fingo yo, agua que te le pegó, oh que te huela pe, oh patele el agua loriza, oh patele el agua loriza, oh patele el agua la to, y lupo valle, oh pavoso, siete rayos me lleva 7 leguas, 7 leguas pongo 7 leguas. 7 rayos me lleva 7 leguas. Digo 7 leguas pongo 7 leguas. 7 rayos me lleva 7 leguas. Oh, 7 leguas pongo 7 leguas. 7 rayos me lleva 7 leguas. Oh, yo
Siete rayos me lleva 7
Ah, rayo pato un Congo, 7 leguas.
Siete rayos me lleva 7
Arriba por abajo ponte, 7 leguas.
Siete rayos me lleva 7
7 rayos allá en La Palma, 7 leguas.
Siete rayos me lleva 7
Oyo, 7 leguas Congo, 7 leguas.
Siete rayos me lleva 7
7 leguas Congo, 7 leguas.
Siete rayos me lleva 7
Chando, Javier Sileo, 7 leguas.
Siete rayos me lleva 7
That was Ilu Aye with La Teñosa. And you're listening to It's 12 O'Clock Somewhere. Today's story is At the Doorsteps of God. The fear comes at the moment when you come to dissolve your last part, because then it will be inevitable. You will not be able to come back. I have told many times a beautiful poem of Rabindranath Tagore. The poet has been searching for God for millions of lives. He has seen him sometimes far away, near a star, and he started moving that way. By the time he reached the star, God had moved on to some other place. But he went on searching and searching. He determined to find God's home. And the surprise of surprises was a day when he actually reached the house where the door was written God's home. You can understand his ecstasy. You can understand his joy. He runs up the steps. Just as he's going to knock on the door, suddenly his hand freezes. An idea arises in him. If by chance this is really the home of God, then I am finished. My seeking is finished. I have become identified with my seeking, with my search. I don't know anything else. If the door opens and I face God, I am finished. The search is over. Then what? Then there's the eternity of boredom, no excitement, no discovery, no challenge, because there cannot be any challenge greater than God. He starts trembling with fear. He takes off his shoes off his feet, and he descends back down the beautiful marble steps. He took the shoes off so he would not make any noise, for his fear was that even the noise on the steps, God may open the door, although he had not knocked. And then he ran as fast as he could. He had never ran before. He used to think that he had been running after God as fast as he can. But today, suddenly, he finds energy, which he has never available to him before. He runs as he has never run, not looking back. The poem ends, I am still searching for God. I know his home, so I try to avoid it and search everywhere else. The excitement is great. The challenge is great. And in my search, I continue to exist. God is in danger. I will not annihilate, but now I am afraid of even God because I know his home. So leaving his home aside, I go searching for him around the universe. And deep down, I know my search for God is not of God. It was a search to nourish my ego. This story comes from Osho, Beyond Psychology. And of course, it is from shortspiritualstories.com. I hope you're enjoying today, because I surely am. And you're listening to It's 12 O'Clock Somewhere with Candelo Kimbisa.
I've gotten down to my last pair of shoes. Can't even win a nickel bet because of them that's got, them that gets, and I ain't got nothing yet. I'm sneaking in and out, ducking my landlord. All I seem to do is stay in debt because of them that's got, them that gets, and I tell y'all I ain't got nothing yet. That old saying, them that's got or them that gets, is something I can't see. If you gotta have something before you can get something, how do you get your first is still a mystery to me. I see folk with long cars and fine clothes. That's why they're called the smarter set, because they manage to get when only them that's got supposed to get. And I ain't got nothing yet. That old saying, them that's got or them that gets, is something I can't see. If you gotta have something before you can get something, how do you get your first is still a mystery to me. I see folk with long cars and fine clothes. That's why they're called the smarter set, because they manage to get, when only them that's got supposed to get. And I ain't got nothing yet. I tell y'all, I ain't found nothing yet. You know, I just don't understand it. I can't seem to get a nickel or a dime for a cup of coffee. I need a hamburger. In fact, a hot dog wouldn't be too bad. I would just be grateful if I could get my hands on most anything right now.
And that was Them That Got from the late but great Ray Charles. I gotta tell you, we have several people in our chat room and several of our contributors. We have Yvette the Motown Witch from themotownwitch.com. Go on ahead and check out her page. Miss Chantel, who happens to be here all the way from London, England, with Oh So Divine. So please do check out Oh So Divine and themotownwitch.com. Man, I tell you, these are places where you can find your spiritual treats. And of course, go on down to Conjure New Orleans and find out about Mama Star Casses and Hoodoos and Moise. And of course, check out ProfessorGeorgePorterfield.com. Man, they got it going on. Also, a quick shout out to my good friend at Love Supply Botanica, Ifa Ibeyu. Check her out at lovesupplybotanica.com and check out her actual Facebook Lives, which happens to be very damn good. So check her out, Ifa Ibeyu, on Facebook. Man, I gotta tell you, I am so looking forward to being in Conyers, Georgia this weekend. It will be a weekend full of teaching, of love, and of reuniting with old friends. Well, Hoodoos and Moise will be there with me at Wicked Mojo in Conyers, Georgia. So do yourself a favor and come and check us out and come and say hi. We'll be looking forward to seeing you. I gotta tell you, today has been quite a day. It started out with a bang. I actually fixed my bed. But hey, man, I look forward to seeing each and every one of you at the Conjure Galas and at everything else that we got planned this year. I hope this year is prosperous for everyone, but I hope that it's more than prosperous. I want it to be healthy. Start the year with something right. Well, guys, as always, may all the eguns and shadows that accompany you have all the necessary light. From where I sit, that's it. Salam alaikum, everyone. I'll see you on Wednesday and Thursday. Friday we will not have a show, and Monday we will not have a show because I will be on the road. Also, make sure that whatever readings you do for me, you ask for me from, will be from tomorrow to Thursday. And Monday is also off. Okay, so I will be out of commission for a couple of days, but hey, that's the way we do it around here. Well, I'm going to let you off with a little bit of the Commodores. Have a great day, everyone.
Say what?
Well, you're too hot to trot now, baby. Well, you're too hot to stop. Well, you're too hot to trot now, baby. Well, you're too hot to stop.
The things that you do, the things that you say,
It's 12 o'clock somewhere was brought to you by Kimbisa.org, the Mahara Conjugala, and ProfessorPorterfield.com.